you're in Kherson, which was occupied by Russian forces but was retaken by Ukraine. What's it like there? What have you
Yeah.
seen?
We're about 10 miles out of Kherson at the moment, so we're not quite in there yet. What we've seen is some of the villages on the outskirts, which the Russians were pushed back from within the last 3 months. So a great deal of damage. Some people coming back into their settlements to try to rebuild their lives and rebuild their houses. No electricity, and sort of trucks with sort of offering running water and food, etc. So it's very much sort of emergency conditions. And on the main road into Kherson, there's a lot of military kit which is moving, but also people. We've seen some UK kit go in the direction of Kherson, and we've seen quite a lot of old Soviet artillery coming out.
And the Russians have been targeting Ukrainian power infrastructure. How badly is that affecting where you are? Is it possible to, have regular supply of electricity and so on?
Odesa has a very mixed supply, so it's on for a couple of hours and off. Lots of places now have generators. So in Odesa, which is a city of 1 million people, the electricity supply is very patchy. In Mykolaiv, which is a neighboring city between Odesa and Kherson, if you imagine sort of southeast Ukraine, in Mykolaiv, they still have significant problems with running water because the Russians bombed the water pipes into the city. And so again, there you have trucks offering sort of 200 tons of water at a time to roughly 1,000 people at a time. So it's important to understand the tactics here. Putin's tactics are to hold a line, so to hold their military position by digging in World War I style, whilst at the same time making civilian life unbearable for the Ukrainians. It's causing difficulties, but he's not really succeeding in making life unbearable. He's making life difficult, but not unbearable.
And I mentioned it's the first Christmas since the invasion obviously began. Many Ukrainians don't celebrate until January the 7th because they follow the Orthodox calendar.
They do, that's true.
Is there a sense that they're trying to celebrate as normally as they can? Have you seen, Christmas decorations and so on?
Not really, no. What we have had a sense of is talking to the Southern Command yesterday, was a sense that they're doing their best to rotate forces out. So if you look at, for example, Russian military bloggers on some of these social media sites, they're complaining the Russian soldiers have been for a month without a change of clothes, without shower, without bath. And because of that, they're developing trench foot and other bad skin conditions. And what the Ukrainians are making sure is that their troops are much better cared for, that they're rotated out of their frontline positions more regularly, that they have a chance, some of them at the least, of seeing their families over Christmas, whilst ensuring that they've got a protected line. So there's much more thought going into, I suspect there's much more thought going into the Ukrainian side. We were in a humanitarian center in Odessa, I think 2 days ago now, and we saw camouflage nets being put together by little old ladies, first aid, because clearly, when these cities are being attacked, first aid is still important and life-saving, but also presents being collected for soldiers, and things like trench candles, so making candles out of paraffin and cardboard, and in fact old tins that can be used in trenches to have some light at night.
Just finally, Bob, what do you hope to learn and take away when you come back, and then when Parliament's back in the new year? What do you hope to be able to bring back to the sort of British Parliament, the House of Commons, from your experience there?
Well, to put bluntly, I like to know what I'm talking about. And the way to know what you're talking about is to witness it. So it's not only a question of reading it, not only reading the question of the Russian military bloggers, but myself and my colleagues here, that's Lord Michael Ashcroft and Chris Green, we want to go to as close as we can to the front line. We want to talk to people on the ground. We want to see what life is like in Mykolaiv and Odessa and Kherson, so that actually when we do speak in our respective houses in Parliament, we know what we're talking about and we can speak from a position of experience. The really important thing, Matt, is, and this is an argument that I think I'm going to be making with Ukrainian MPs and other MPs throughout next year, is that the Ukrainians need a consistency of supply so that they can plan ahead, and realistically, equipping them properly is the least bad of a series of very bad options. But if we don't equip them properly, the Russians, at very great humanitarian cost, will eventually win. So we need to make sure that the Ukrainians are equipped properly so that they can fight and they can win this battle to liberate their territory.